And we are live. So welcome to this live stream here with me, Peter Sweden, and we have Red Pill Phil with us. I was hoping to get Baked Alaska and Nick Fuentes on later on, but it seems like they were a little busy, so we unfortunately couldn't get them today. But hopefully later on. Yeah, if you wonder what it looks like in the background here, by the way, it's I just had a removal van came and done with all my stuff here, so that's why it's kind of messy in the background. I don't know how long it will take for me to get rid of this, but it might take a little while. It's a big mess here right now. But anyway, we wanted to talk about we had a Tommy Robinson book signing thing, I believe, going on this weekend, and Red Pill Phil was there. He got video of it. Well, why don't you tell us about what happened?
What happened was a nice peaceful march of people assembling, begrudgingly by the council and the police somewhat, I guess. But no, the event passed off quite nicely. It was several hundred, maybe 1,000 people, all queued nicely, peacefully, for a book that Tommy agreed would be given free and he would sign it. So he literally stood outside a big van that was full of books, and one by one, people got an autograph, got a photo, got maybe a few choice words with him, and yeah, everyone seemed to be happy. Afterwards, there was a couple of speeches by Tommy. There was a local chap from the local area who's got notoriety through being on Question Time and bringing a question up regarding radical Islam in the mosques in Manchester, bringing that point up in Question Time. So Tommy recognised that and give him his chance to have a little bit of a speech, and he come across very well. There was on the side of the bus that was they were using as a platform, there was a video screen that was showing a short, like 12-minute video, and other little bits and bobs of imagery and things like that. But just generally, the atmosphere was good. People within it was fine. A bit of choice language here and there, you know, when Tommy's speaking, probably a few people getting a bit excited and whatnot. But other than that, no, it was good demographics. There was women, men, couples, mothers, sons. You know, there was all kinds of things going on. It was really exciting.
Was there any Antifa? I heard there was some Antifa that tried to instigate something. Was that correct or was that wrong?
Instigate something.
I think it was some Antifa was trying to instigate some kind of violence or something. That's what I heard.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me, mate. As far as I was concerned, I'm sure, you know, there was a lot of things that was going on that night. There was a counter-protest. They was separated. They was well separated. The actual venue was nicely thought out, considering this was the second venue. That, you know, the first venue should have been Bowlers, which was an indoor venue. This was outdoor on the wharf, so it was beside the canal.
Was that the same canal that we had an interview with?
Yes, but it's a different part of it going round.
So I remember you and me sitting there by the canal.
Yes.
Doing an interview. The video we got it on the YouTube.
Where we was at the Manchester end, Piccadilly. Now, where the Tommy Robinson book launch was at, it was Castlefield, so it's basically going round. Okay. Same kind of scenario.
So there were no people throwing letters into the river.
You remember that? Yeah. As we was trying to conduct that interview, we were just hearing a massive plop and just a lettuce floating, or a cabbage or something, and a load of geese are just making their way over to it.
There was this. I think he was trying to feed the swans or something with lettuce, and he had like his house like several levels up from the river, and he was just like throwing lettuce down.
Well, I hope so, mate. Otherwise, he was throwing veg at us, and it was missing, and the geese were capitalising on it. Either way, you know, the geese were happy. But no, it was similarly attractive. It was that type of area. It's got the Y Club is there. It's an old, like a Roman fort. It's got bit of historical value to it. So it's been kind of redone up. It's got the amphitheatre kind of look to it. And it was nice. It was a nice event. People were friendly and people were behaving themselves. Like I say, the only slight thing was the odd bit of fruity language that was propelled out in between Tommy's speeches. That's about it, really.
Was it some of these kind of EDL types that were?
Well, it's hard for me to say that, mate. I'd just say probably people getting overexcited and maybe should realise.
When I was covering it was this UK against hate march in Manchester, which the famous one where I met you, and you had this Antifa schooling lady thing going on. I remember when I was there, there were a few people shouting a few choice words.
Yeah.
And it was actually one of the guys, I don't know if I told you, but when I was there covering the protest, so this was on the kind of Tommy Robinson side, there was this guy, he had like a huge beer in his hand, and he was shouting like, "Oh, those Muslims," and so on. And he was giving a finger to Antifa, and this guy, he actually took he actually stuck his finger up my butt. I don't know if I told you that.
Right. I'm glad you didn't, actually, because if that had been the first occasion and you said that to me, I kind of might have just politely walked away. I don't engage in that. Or kebab fondling. I've not forgotten.
No, I was just trying to film what's going on, and this guy just does that. I mean,
Yeah, I know that type of mentality. It's unwarranted, and you've got to consider that no matter what you're doing, if you're representing a march or you go into something that you want to air your grievances, the whole point of the purpose is to kind of gain other people's approval and kind of solidarity with it. So if you're going to do it, you hold it in a constructive manner and behave yourself, because otherwise you're not going to convince normal, considerate, average people. They're only going to play into the thin narrative as you're violent. You're somebody that I don't need to associate with. So it's unfortunate that these people that make these comments, they don't see that and think that before they actually say it. I know sometimes a bit of beer might get involved. Sometimes they generally do feed into the atmosphere. And some people like that tend to just blurt out things thinking they're being with a crowd, but they're actually being inappropriate.
Yeah, and I also saw this video. You had a video there from the book signing on your channel, which is Red Pill Phil. So make sure to go subscribe to him there as well, guys. Red Pill Phil, just search on YouTube and find his channel. You had this girl, also Annie Greek, on there. She said something about losing her job for being on this protest. Is that correct? Do you know anything about that?
Well, not on that specific protest. I think this all stems back from the Bristol, because she's the organizer for the Bristol March.
Yeah, I know the Bristol March very well. I was supposed to speak at the Bristol March, but Anne-Marie Waters told Annie Greek to ban me from speaking, so she did that. So,
well, I mean, I know Annie was there on the day. She was actually stood beside a major member of Pegida in Manchester, because believe it or not, he was saying in the march, he spoke briefly as well.
So was this Bristol or Manchester?
This was Manchester, sorry, going back to Manchester, yes. He was, as the book was being passed to him, bless you, he was turning the first page, handing it to Tommy, and then Tommy was signing it for whoever wanted the book. And he was a lovely chap, very funny, very good. Was he one
of the guys that were down in Dresden recently?
He possibly could be, Peter. I don't know too much about them, to be honest, but I can only go off first impressions. And the guy was a lovely gentleman. He has a nice sense of humour, spoke very good English. So, you know, I'm sure people have got a narrative about Pegida. I have looked into a little bit of what they're about, and, you know, I can't go too far on my opinions because I need to know more before I say, but that guy sounds nice, and he was nice for the little time I spoke. But so Annie was there assisting. But Annie was the trouble that she's been getting over that march. She's been assaulted. by Antifa, physically assaulted, kicked
in Bristol, yeah.
In Bristol. I think the perpetrator's been caught, but she's waiting to see how far it's going to go.
So why did she lose her job?
Because of that march, because she organised that march, essentially, from what I believe.
Because she works as a mental nurse hospital, I believe.
I knew it was in that line. I didn't know specifically what she'd done, and I knew there was a threat.
She told me she worked as a mental health nurse.
Right.
So that's strange. She lost her job as a mental health nurse. Yeah. So this is probably the NHS then, the National Health Service, I guess. The UK
without a doubt, yeah. So I think, to be fair, from what I've known, I think she knew. It was almost like not so much she's been on suspension, but she knew that this was pending. I don't think they've just knocked on one day and said, you go. But I think they've probably left it pending and then they've come back, made their decision. I might be wrong, Annie might correct me there, but I kind of got a rumour a few weeks ago.
I think that's quite strange. So she works for the UK government. She's on the government payroll basically as a nurse. And they have a big problem in the UK with the lack of nurses. A very big problem. It's a huge problem in the UK where they have a lack of nurses and doctors. They really need them urgently.
Yeah.
So this lady, she organized a march. What was the march called?
It was the UK against gays and immigrants.
It was gays and immigrants against hate or something.
Yeah,
the march, which is kind of a very, if you think about it, that's kind of a very moderate very moderate message that they're pushing. Gays and immigrants against hate. Yeah. You'd almost think that would be a leftist.
I was going to say, which the left should be appeased with that, because that's more resembling their way of thinking. But no, there wasn't. You wouldn't have believed that on the march, because Antifa were crawling out the bushes, running alongside us, just screaming all kinds of stuff.
But to be honest, me looking back at that march, I probably am glad I didn't speak to, because I mean these people seem very moderate, if you ask me.
It was a lovely march to go to.
But, yeah, but she loses a job from the UK government as a nurse for organizing that march. That's just insane.
And getting assaulted, physically on the street. She now tells me she has to film herself, like do Periscope whenever she goes about, because that's the environment it is down there with them being so liberal, and because she's decided to hold that march, it's sad. I mean, she's got a lot of support down there. I met a lot of people there that are totally on her side, support her all the way, but I do feel for her plight. And then I had a little chat with her, and then you actually listen to her lifestyle and what she's gone through. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. She's a natural-born Greek, but she spent a lot of time in Saudi Arabia through her father, and she's had to wear the full garb. So she can totally explain. She's explained how her mother was whipped, and and it's a crazy story. So you think that, why is she getting assaulted? You should be pulling her in and going, right, there's some middle ground here, because women's rights and all that kind of stuff. Where are these women's rights and all these rainbow colours? No, they're calling her a Nazi and kicking her about and, getting her job lost. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, that's really insane. I think it's starting to become quite evident that the UK government is not on the people's side. They are on some other side, not the British people. I myself, I don't know if I told you this, but I myself had... the British police harassed my parents at 9:30 at night for supposed hate crime that I've been doing, I suppose. And then a few days later, 6 police cars swarmed my house in the UK, including 2 vans. And they swarmed around my house in the evening, I think it was Friday evening. Yeah, well, I mean, why do they go after people that are just speaking the truth, and then completely letting off people that are doing some really bad things? in the UK?
Peter, you know, to be honest with you, I'll be totally honest. You know, in your case, you know what I think it is? I think the rumour's gone out about your kebab fondling. So, you know, they're all over the place. Every relative they know they'll be asking the history on you and your kebab fondling. So you need to curb it, mate. Stop it. No pita rubbing, no kebab. No, it's not.
I've been too much kebabs.
I'm sorry, mate. No, it's ridiculous, mate. It's absolutely shameful. It's shameful because the police should have better things to do. You know, there's actually worried citizens that are scared stiff with all types of crimes and things actually going on within society. And to be honest, I don't want to swear, mate, because I'm not going to do that to your show, but they don't care. The police do not care. They don't address that. They'd rather chase people in ice cream vans. You know what I mean? And it seemed like they're doing the right thing, but in reality, they're absolutely doing nothing, you know? And they're just hounding out people that are absolutely law-abiding and trying to do the right by people.
Yeah, no, it seems, I mean, the UK police they said they don't have enough money resources to tackle all the crime that's happening in the UK, but they have enough money to employ 900 hate crime police officers to tackle so-called hate crime.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
well, you'd think, Peter, that they would actually consider that, let's check to see if he's in. If we're going to send half a dozen police officers that no matter what they're being paid, they're getting paid. They could actually be on overtime, because this is such a serious crime and we've got to combat this. But they don't think to check that you're in. They'll just run round there. You know, you're in another country.
It kind of feels like the UK police is a bit, they kind of had a wrong, let's say, wrong priorities very much. I mean, I took this photo here of the police car in Newcastle. I showed this before, but Policing with Pride, LGBT plus association, pink and blue police car.
It's a funky ice cream van, that's all that is. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Why don't they actually do something useful? You know? There was I'll tell you one little story, mate. My eldest daughter, probably about 6 months ago, her and a boyfriend, no longer with him, she's with somebody else now. I don't want to start a war there before anyone gets in touch. She was on one of them Segway things going down the street. Two scroats, which is a kind of a Mancunian nickname for uneducated chavs, let's say, yeah? They see my daughter, not my daughter's boyfriend, but my daughter's actually on the Segway. They push her off it, grab it and run. Now, Segway in our country is like 200 quid, 250 quid. It actually belonged to a boyfriend. The boyfriend was being chivalrous enough to go, you know what, you can ride it. So they were coming home. She come home and told me, we reported it to the police. Absolutely nowhere. Reported the crime. He's actually got back to me and said where the perpetrator lived. And that was the last I heard. I've not even had a follow-up and nothing. Now, that's something I regard dear. Not chasing... I'm not going to say it. Not chasing Peter Sweden up. Sorry, mate. We're going to stop that one because it's going on too long. No, but you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And this is what the average public see, is what is personal to them. I don't care about that.
Actually, the police, they actually arrested... there were some guys who lived literally 500 meters from my house in the UK. And last weekend, so they arrested two 14-year-old white boys for alleged terrorism. Now, I don't know. I have never seen any 14-year-old white boys that have been into terrorism, nor any Muslim boys either that have been into terrorism that are just 14. That really sounds quite strange. And I look at it, they actually, what's actually happening here is that they were bullied in school. It's not all in the news, but this is what people are saying in the town, because everybody knows who they are. They were bullied at school, so they made some list of people they wanted to get revenge on. So then the police goes and arrests them for terrorism. Yeah, maybe at the worst it could be a criminal thing, but better thing probably just get them in some kind of therapy or counseling. Will probably have solved the problem. Terrorism, no. I mean, and this makes people think. I saw some of the kind of right wingers, some Tommy Robinson fans and so on, talking on Twitter, and they posted this about this story with the 14-year-old boys, and they thought it was Muslims. So they were like, oh, even the young guys are getting radicalized. Good on them for arresting them. But the thing I don't understand is it's actually 14-year-old white kids that are, it's not Muslims at all. But I think it's Muslims because they say it's terrorists. So then people think, oh yeah, go do it. You know, they kind of used to the terrorism, but it's not.
It's a worrying trend, mate. It almost feels like the Stasi, the thought police, it's all coming out. I mean, with the certain bills and laws that they bring out, the certain speech which 20 years ago was perfectly allowed, now you can't say it for fear of being hateful. So then the hate police and the ice cream vans come round with a frigging truncheons waving in the air. So once you start closing in on what is actually legal, then you will hear more and more stories about terrorist police and, you know, thought police, hates, all because it is 1984. You do see it, more similarities to it. If they can break down the language and make more and more words hateful, make connotations, make people wearing fancy dress costumes, you're going to get more and more crimes because by very nature, you've changed the game. You've opened up the boundaries, which is only going to curtail more and more people, you know, so it's unsurprising. You know, even if they say hate speech has gone up, well, hate speech has gone up because you consider more and more words as hate speech. So what do you reckon is going to happen?
Well, if you look at in North Yorkshire, misogyny is now hate speech. So if you look at a woman, if a woman thinks you're looking at her in the wrong way, that's hate speech, hate crime.
Well, if that's the case, then I must be guilty of it probably 2-3 times a week. You know, when the wife and I don't always agree, she looks at me, I look at her. And do you think she looks at me with love 24 hours a day, Peter? You know what I mean? So what's that? Is that reverse misogyny? Or is that just a woman being absolutely cheesed off with her husband because her husband's put his foot in it or whatever? You know,
a woman can't look wrongly at the man. It's just the other way around, apparently.
Oh, of course. I do apologise to any women out there. It's always my fault. Yeah. And my wife is not watching this, obviously, now, as I'd feel probably a hook appearing and yanking me up. I'll get it later, no doubt. No, but this is it. So it just opens up the boundaries. So then it's almost to the case of nothing's acceptable anymore. That's the world we're heading towards, which is only going to gain more resentment, in my view.
That's I think this free speech, the crackdown on free speech, is a communist thing. It comes from communism. I mean, on talk of that, I just want to add quickly here. I'm probably going to do a separate video on this later, hopefully with Baked Alaska and Nick Fuentes, if I can get them on later. But there's been a lot of problems with persecutions of Christians lately. 2016 had a record high level of persecutions against Christians, and I actually have a map here of the countries with the worst persecution of Christians in the world, and it kind of gives. If you look at the map, it's kind of these are the countries with the worst persecution of Christians in the world, and it kind of gets to a common theme here, I think. Which countries these are? You have communist countries, and you have Islamic countries. And then you have Mexico as well, which is apparently a Christian country, apparently, but that's the only odd one out, more or less. And you have India as well. But it's kind of all of these countries in the middle of the earth, basically. Yeah, not the best countries. Then you had the attack in Texas, where a whole church was shot up by a guy who appears to be an atheist, and he has posted lots of anti-Christian comments on his Facebook. Now he was a Bible teacher as well, apparently, but he had posted lots of anti-Christian messages on Facebook. So that seems to be, probably considering he shot up a church, it's probably not unlikely it was an anti-Christian thing there as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, wasn't something about his mother-in-law or something?
There was something about it, yeah.
Yeah, and the preacher, the preacher wasn't actually doing the sermon, it was the preacher's daughter. She died in the attack as well. His kids and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely sick. You don't know whether he's just flipped a switch there or what, mate, because what does that imply? He's obviously got some affiliation with Bible. If he was what did you say? He was a preacher. He was a Bible teacher. Is that what you said he was? Yeah. So I don't know what's flipped that switch. Whether it was the mother-in-law angle.
Well, his Facebook and so on showed that he was an atheist, and he had also posted anti-Christian messages. There could be something to do with that too. That's what I think.
But a Bible teacher.
Yeah. He had posted the guy who attacked. He was a Bible teacher as well, but he was also an atheist, and he posted lots of anti-Christian messages on Facebook.
Well, it seems to be a current theme, doesn't it, mate? We had it several years ago with the banning of the cross, and there's certain sentiments regarding Christianity that they don't tell you can't say, but they don't encourage you to say it at the same time. Values don't seem to be represented in schools and places, where you can kind of show your affiliation. You hear it a hell of a lot in America, where if you go in certain areas and mention about that, it's demonized and whatnot. And it is affiliated more with the Trump, I guess, because Trump's affiliated himself with God and tried to bring God back to the presidency. So you don't know whether that is in line. I don't know whether the area is a Trump area or not. I don't know whether they be Trump voters, whether that's the angle. But it's just worrying times, mate. I don't know whether they're just fishing for a narrative, because there could be one or two or three different narratives as to why he's done that there. But certainly, without a doubt, the map that you've just shown there with what's going on in other countries, and even with the migrant flow, the amount of Christians that was neglected from coming over in the flow, the refugees, they was not allowed.
Most refugees have been Muslims.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you look at the country that is the second worst country when it comes to persecution of Christians, is actually Somalia. And a lot of the migrants coming to Sweden are from Somalia. And I mean, there's been quite a bit of problems in Sweden since then. I mean, just this month, there was another bomb in Sweden today. So there's been 16 bombs in Sweden now in just 28 days. It's kind of like Sweden is turning into, I mean, Sweden is becoming worse than Somalia. All of the Somalians are moving to Sweden, and Sweden is turning out worse than Somalia, basically, with all the bombings going on.
That is like worse than Mexico, isn't it? I mean, some of them stats are crazy there. When I seen your video displaying it with that lovely backdrop of that lake, mate, and you need to stop telling me of how nice it is there, because it's not very nice.
That's the sea.
A sea? Oh, okay, mate. Okay. Well, they're absolutely gorgeous anyway. But no, when you were getting upset there in the video, I felt your pain. Because for you as a fellow, that's your country that you're talking about, that you're describing. It's shocking when you go through them numbers. And then when you go and put it in comparison to a country like America and the type of bombings that they would have to endure, the numbers anyway, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that, so there's been almost a month now. There's been 16 bombs in Sweden in a month. And if you scale it up now to what that would have been like in America, let me just see here what the population is. Let me just bring up my calculator. I'm not very good at maths in my head. Let me see.
Like 350 million, isn't it?
I'm not very good at. I'm gonna say that maths is not my strongest point.
You and me both, mate.
Here we go. Yeah, so if you scale this up to America, so in Sweden, there's been 16 bombs in a month. And Sweden's population of 10 million people. So if you would scale that up to America, which has a population of 320 million people, that would equal 512 bombs that would have happened in America if what's happening in Sweden happened in America. Think about that for a minute. Imagine if there had been 512 bombs in America in 1 month. I mean, what would the reaction be? I mean, what would happen? I mean, the military would go in and probably nuke the plane, nuke whole area. I mean, you know, you can just imagine America, you know, the theme America World Police, the theme song. Have you seen that? Have you seen that film, Team America World Police?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen the theme song? You can just imagine the American military coming in there, America, just nuking this whole logo area.
That's total carnage. That's Armageddon. That I mean, it's like, so it's over. It's 10 estate, isn't it? Even if you used to look at it like that and break it down by each state in America, it's like crazy. It's like,
it would have been 10. There would have been 10 bombings per state in America in a month if that would have happened in America as what's been happening in Sweden. That's absolutely crazy. And this is going on in Sweden. The mainstream media is completely quiet. I'm basically the only guy reporting this, and well, thanks to some of the things I've been doing, some of the mainstream media has reported a few of the bombings, but not all of them. The Time reported that there was 5 bombs, but now there's been quite a few more. And some of this, I mean, it's crazy.
Well, it's ludicrous in a sense that the facts are there, the data's there. You'd have to be seriously brainwashed from listening to all this data and still kind of portraying as if there's not a problem. Let's just put a beep bumper sticker on and let's just light a candle and we're fine. These stats are frightening, seriously frightening. But you can tell by the press's response and how they try to deceive people away from people who want to talk about it. It speaks volumes.
Shall I, let me see here. Shall I do you want me to bring up a video? I actually saw one of the bombs that was used yesterday outside the driving school. There's actually a video on it on YouTube where I used this very bomb. Shall I bring it up on screen so you can see how powerful the bomb actually is?
Yeah, go for it.
Bring it up. Let me see. Let me find it.
Was anyone hurt in this bombing?
Well, a few people have been hurt, but most people are not. Most of the times, people are not hurt, and it seems a lot of the time they just want to damage buildings or intimidate people because it's the gangs doing this. So usually, well, the one today was actually the bomb that happened today was actually a guy collected a parcel from the post office and he put it in his car, and it was on his way home when it blew up in his car. So those guys were hurt. So some people got hurt, but people usually don't get killed. They usually don't get killed, at least. Let's see here. Let me see here if I can bring up. Here we go. Let me see if I can have that up on screen. Let me just skip. Just bear with me, guys. Just one moment. Yeah. So it was actually a kind of a firecracker banger, very powerful one, illegal one that was used that blew up, that damaged a building the other day in Sweden. And you might hear, oh, it's just a firecracker, but no, this it's not just a firecracker. This, I mean, this is quite powerful stuff. So here I have a video. Let me bring it up on screen. Just a minute. Let me see. Here I think. Can you? No, that. Whoops.
Ooh,
And that was the wrong. That was the wrong one. Let me see here. Let's do this.
That was like something out of a Stanley Kubrick movie.
Can you see? Can you see now? Let me play it. So here is it's called a Cobra 8. Here is it versus washing machines. So you can kind of get a feel for how powerful it actually is. Hang on, I just got some problem here. Let me try it again. See if I can play it. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this to play. If my computer is going a bit slow. I think I have too many windows up. Let's see if this works. Apologies, guys. Let's see if we can get this to work. It's not showing, is it?
No, it's kind of frozen. Oh, he's oh my.
Yeah, my computer is not managing to play that. It's too heavy for my computer, unfortunately. Let me see if I can get a screenshot instead. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get a screenshot instead of it. Apologies, guys. My computer did not handle that. Let me see. Yeah, let me get a screenshot instead. Yeah, my computer was not able to handle that. Too big load for my computer. My computer is not that powerful. But here you see a screenshot. They actually blew up 2 washing machines with this bomb. So it's kind of quite powerful. This. I mean, here's the washing machine, and boom, it's gone. It's quite a powerful. These are the things. These are some of the things that they're using to blow up things here in Sweden. So it's kind of. Yeah, it's kind of. Here's the carnage afterwards. Let me see if my computer can just load, please. Yeah, it's just blown to pieces. And this is exactly the same bomb that was used yesterday in Sweden to blow up, to damage a driving school. It was.
So they're not like fireworks; they're more like incendiary devices, aren't they?
This is like they call it firecracker. They call it firecracker. I don't know why. I mean, these are really powerful stuff. They're 100 grams of gunpowder. You can just see it just totally demolishes a washing machine. I mean, that would kill a person easy.
Yeah, if you get anywhere near it. Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, it's bad stuff. And these are the things, and these are some of the more kind of, what should I say, least powerful bombs. These are the kind of smallest bombs that they're using. In other cases, they use much bigger bombs. For example, when I bombed a police station, they used I think it was 10 kilos of gunpowder they used to blow that up, and this is just 100 grams. So it's quite serious bombings going on in Sweden. It's insane.
It's a new style of terrorism, isn't it? It's literally bringing it to the West. I mean, this was concepts before pre-9/11. This was all kind of naively kind of alien to us. We knew it went on in other lands and whatnot, but we've always had a history with the IRA doing bombs and fertilizer bombs and this, that, and the other. But it just seems to be amped up with the sophistication and just the fact that these are as small splintered cells within no-go zones that are doing this now. You're not talking about paramilitary kind of groups anymore. It could be.
It's the criminal gangs in the no-go zones doing this. I mean, it's as simple as that. And by the way, I just want to give a huge shout out here in the live chat. Snow Shimp who donated on the super chat. He says, "Drinks are on me, boys. Much love from New Zealand." Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Snow Shame there. Thank you so much. I hope Phil probably enjoys a free drink. I guess I don't drink myself, but
I'm on coffee tonight, I'm afraid, mate. So thank you, mate. Thank you.
I'm on milk.
Right. Okay.
I have to be careful now because milk is a white supremacist symbol now, apparently, as well. So,
well, this is it. There you go. Look, no wonder the police are knocking at your door. You know, you're openly. I'm all up for freedom of speech, mate, but openly drinking milk and streaming it, then you're inciting hatred. Come on. You know, that is what am I? I'm brown skinned. You're drinking white milk. I'm supposed to freak out at this point.
I am atoning for my sins of drinking milk. I actually have my Swedish flat, what's it called? Knäckebröd in Swedish. It's a kind of crispy bread. And I got my Norwegian Nugatti, which is a chocolate spread. So I'm kind of atoning for my sins.
There you go. You've got your brown, black, and white. You kind of
with my chocolate spread here, my brown.
There you go. There you go. Don't let my daughters see that. They'll be over there. They love Nutella. They do love Nutella. So at least no one can accuse that of you now. You're catering for everyone there, mate. I don't see any race that can see that they're not catered for within that bit of product placement you got going on.
I'm missing a guy here in the live chat. LA Fun says no brown cheese. Well, I'm missing the brown cheese. Then I would have the black, the white, and the brown. There's a brown cheese in Norway, which is kind of like caramel taste to it. A little sting to it. Sour, kind of like sourdough bread ish. It's quite nice. I mean, I'm just missing that.
So is that a cheese that you would eat cold rather than melted?
Yeah, cold.
Right.
Can't melt it. We got a guy in a live chat as well at Eurowars who says, "Great to meet you Friday, Phil." Someone met you on Friday.
Yes, great chap. Went to a bar afterwards. I mean, that was another criticism I'm going to say, if there was one, but what should have transpired after that event is that everyone affiliated and all the positive thinking people who wanted to go for a drink, which was the kind of intention, should have had a centralized place where they could all collate and get together. But it ended up, the kind of event finished, 3 or 4 groups kind of split and formed. We got directions to go to one place, and then there was directions to go to another place. And it just ended up no one could kind of go anywhere but stay where they was. So it ended up with 3 or 4 different parties in 3 or 4 different locations around Manchester, all kind of going, "Oh, I wish you could, oh, never mind," and just kind of getting on with it. But this guy here, he was in our party, so I managed to have a couple of drinks with him, top chap. And he was talking about a trip to Poland coming up, which sounds quite interesting. But he's got his own YouTube page as well. So, yeah, nice one, mate. Thank you. Cheers for watching.
Excellent, yeah. Is there anything else? I was just thinking. I talked about the bombings that happened in Sweden. I talked about the Texas thing. I talked about what's happened in... is there anything else upcoming in the UK? You said there was quite a few events coming up.
The only one I'm committing to at the moment, Peter, just because of work and family and whatnot, is in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh?
That's going to be... Yeah, it's going to be a good travel. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I've got family through my wife's side up in Glasgow, but I've only been to Edinburgh once, and that was literally an in and out kind of journey. So I'd love to see it. Very historical town, so it's quite a picturesque place. But yes, it's going to be. I think the title is the Veterans Against Extremism. I've got it right, and that's coming up at the end of November. I think it's the 25th. Coming up, but hopefully I'll be on with you, Lord permitting. I better not mention a faith, had I? Otherwise I'll be getting persecuted. So yeah, hopefully that'll be coming up, and there's plenty of other events, but like I say, it's only what I can kind of commit to. I'd love to spend my time on a weekly basis, Peter, going to each event, and like you do, just filming it and giving your final thought view. But you just, life gets in the way and whatnot. But I must admit, the support I got through the Peter Sweden event was absolutely fantastic. Meeting so many nice people, it was fantastic. So it's getting more and more exciting the more I'm doing it. I will say that.
Yeah, no, excellent. Yeah, I was thinking if there's anything more. No, I think I talked myself. Is there anything more you want to talk about? I thought, maybe any Q&A from the guys watching, if they have any questions.
Yeah.
Quite a few people watching, but almost 200 people watching now. So make sure to hit the thumbs up, guys. You guys are watching. Eurowar says your filming was amazing, Phil.
Cheers, man.
Just seeing here. Yeah, not any questions coming in so far. I think people know quite a lot who you are.
They've had a gist of what's going on, and if they need to know, it's on the channel anyway. So it's kind of broke down there, self-explanatory. So
apparently Lawrence Sudden is doing a live stream right now. One is commenting. I need to check that out. Maybe it's time. If that's true, maybe it's time to back up here and head over there.
Yeah, definitely get involved with Lawrence stream.
I'm gonna see if someone just mentioned it in the chat. I'm gonna see if that's true or not. Let me just see if she's on.
Is it she or a he, Peter?
Maybe that was the stream that happened a few days ago.
Are you talking she or he, Peter?
Yeah, there's no stream on now at least. Someone here called let me see what's his name. Electro. What's his name again? I'll call him. How do you felt having to learn Norwegian? He asks me. Well, I haven't had to learn Norwegian. I've done Norwegian for quite some time, and it's very similar to Swedish anyway. Some guy called Cheesy Nan asks, how many suits has Phil smoked? I don't know what he means by that. Do you know what suits is?
Suits?
Z-O-O-T-S. How many suits has Phil smoked? I don't know what that means.
No idea. I have no idea.
A question here. Alexis has a question for Phil. What do you think? Have you seen the YouTuber called Tree of Logic?
Yes, he's the black conservative American, isn't it?
Yeah,
the lady. Yeah, I've seen one or two clips. Smart lady, very smart lady. Yeah, I mean, I've seen her. Yeah.
There was there was this girl called Red Pill Black or something. Have you seen her? This black girl.
Yes.
She outed her as being a fake.
Oh, the Tree of Logic outed Red Pill Black as being a fake.
Yeah.
Oh, really? On what grounds? Because she comes across quite well.
She actually ran a doxing website just a few months ago called Social Autopsy. It was actually mentioned quite a bit in some of the YouTubers talked about it. So this is the doxing website. The people who say hateful things online, I can dox them where they went to school, where they work and everything, their address and everything. And that's her website. And then just a few months later, she rebrands and calls herself a conservative, and people are not buying it.
But that's her story, because that's how she's saying she got red pilled because of the persecution because of that website. That's how I understand it.
Well, it's a bit strange, the whole thing, I must say.
Yeah, because she was a lefty, wasn't she? And she
won't distance herself from the website. She still thinks it's a good thing.
Right.
So that's quite strange.
Okay.
But yeah.
Right. I have no idea. If she is an infiltrator, she's doing a good job, I must admit, because I've seen some of the videos, and but so I can't see the angle there. But yeah, the one thing is the level of suspicion now, because everyone, no matter, I guess, you're left or right, even though I don't subscribe to either, more libertarian in my way of thinking, but there's so many infiltrations and people exposing this and people exposing that, that you're going to be looking at everyone. And you slide this little comment and what they say and how they act and where they come from and what they were all about. And so you never know who you trust.
There's been a lot of infiltrator in the right recently from the left, that's for sure. A lot of people, it seems to me, for some reason, a lot of people in the UK think that Kaylin from the Rebel Media has been an infiltrator. That's something a lot of people have been saying that they think, which I think is not true at all. No, I don't think that's true at all. I mean, I can kind of understand why some people think it, because he used to be quite left-leaning before, and then then he split up the Rebel Media and so on. But no, him being frightened, I don't think so. But there are other people in the UK that are kind of, that I think are infiltrators, that are kind of interesting characters, to say the least.
Well, you never know. I mean, I'm not saying he is or he isn't. I can only take it that he was a nice geezer when I met him, charming. But same again, it's that level of suspicion. Who knows? And people sometimes will never get certain little seeds out of the head. Now, they might be justified in having them seeds there. They might totally be wrong. But they might just think, okay, well, let it ride. But I'm still convinced. And there's so much paranoia regarding this that no one can trust anyone, truthfully, really, because everyone's still thinking, you know. I never forget on the video of the Antifa lady, Peter, on the first couple of days I was actually reading comments and my head was all over the place. No one knew who it was. And I was just sat in my house overnight just reading the comments, blown away. And some lady actually suggested that I was a plant. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? And I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? She doesn't realise it. I put my heart on my line and my head and my profession and everything else there with coming out with that comment, particularly with what's happening to people getting suspended and sacked all over the place. So for anyone to suggest that that was somehow contrived and fake, I thought, what? You don't even realise. You know what I mean? Not many people would want to stick their head out like that, or particularly when the video has gone viral, to actually go, well, yeah, it was me. There was plenty of reasons why I should have just kept my head down and carried on working, you know what I mean?
Oh, why did I think you were an infiltrator? That's
I have no idea. Yeah, all I like to do is paint walls, and that's it, paint walls. And I'm just a man who's a family man, who's quite a simple living guy. If I could have it, mate, we've had this conversation off air. If I could have it, I could live off the grid, away from all the civilization, because it's all crazy. I do feel like, you know,
I have a guy in the live chat who says that he reckons Red Pill Phil works for the Russians.
Well, there you go. There you go. I have actually been to Moscow, so that's going to, you know, grow that suspicion.
I've been to Moscow too, so...
there you go. We're both infiltrators. We're both on the payroll.
Where's my paycheck, Putin?
Yeah, I've not had it yet. I'll tell you that. You know, if I do, I have to wait for it. My word. Getting me painting walls as well. No, so this is it. It's crazy how far you want to go, and I can understand from people's perspective, a lot of Chinese whispers and a lot of misinformation, and it's a makey world, and it's hard to actually distinguish truth from fiction now.
Yeah, there's a lot of this whole Russia thing is just ridiculous, I think. And yeah, I have a question here again from Snow Shrimp, who I donated again. He's donated twice this time. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Really helps the show out, guys, because I'm basically 100% fan funded. So thank you so much. He has a question here. Do you think millennials are to blame for Muslim immigration? Are we too weak to say no? Too weak to physically resist more masculine societies? Asks Snowshimp. What do you think, Phil?
Can you just repeat that first bit, Peter? Sorry.
Do you think millennials are to blame for Muslim immigration? Are we too weak to say no? Too weak to physically resist more masculine societies?
Well, can I just say, mate, I had this conversation with my daughter the other day, and a good friend of mine, and it's a fear that maybe people kind of think, oh, he's going too far. But I'm a 47-year-old male, so I'm going to see it from my perspective. Where I'm at and where I grew, the society I grew up in now, I would say what I've seen in a very slow tiptoe is what I would regard, I don't even know whether this term exists, but for me, it sums it up semantically perfectly. The pussification of the male species. I do feel that men are more becoming feminine now. I do believe men are more, whether it's emotionally as well, which is a good thing. You know, we can be brutes and we do need to be switched on and be more aligned in that way. But when it comes to the external things, men are more considerate about that now. I've known a guy who's had an account at a tanning shop, used to go on a daily basis. Now, you know, for whatever reason, I just feel the appearance of men is so much more important to men than it used to be 20, 30 years ago when men were just happy just looking different.
Well, there's no doubt that men today are much more feminine than men of yesteryear. Just look at the testosterone level that has really dropped dramatically. There was actually this BuzzFeed guys. Did you see this? The guys who were at BuzzFeed, these like really liberal guys, leftist newspaper, online. They actually did they have it on YouTube. They did a video where they did the testosterone count test to see how much testosterone they had. So the national average, I think, is between 300 and 900. That's the average. 300 is really low, 900 is quite high, and I think the average is like 600. But that's the range. And these guys, only one guy had within the acceptable levels. He had 300 or something. All of the other guys had dangerously low testosterone. They were down to 270, 250, 210. When the average testosterone today is 600, and that's not taking into account that people actually 50 years ago, back in the 50s, they had double the testosterone that men today have. So imagine guys like back in the 50s had 2,000 in testosterone. These guys had like 200.
Yeah, I know. He's practically reforming into a woman right in front of your eyes there, and he's almost happy about it.
He's gonna start growing long hair and breasts.
Yeah, little lumps start coming out. It's like Dr. Dolittle, you know, when he can't control it and he's just spouting out. It's like, upset him, and like boobs are just popping in and out again. It's like, what's going on? No, you know, I do believe, in answer to the question, men have got to go back to being men again. I'm all good for being more sensitive and more considerate, but I do believe in the primal hunter-gatherer instinct as well, but in a logical, intelligent manner. You know what I mean? Not just all running around ogre and just acting how you want, and, you know, the women are second best. So I'm not talking about that at all. I'm talking about genuine, you know, chivalrous males who are totally happy within their skin. And at the same time, I've got that sense of just loving for everyone around them, including women. You know what I mean?
Well, I think if you want my answer to this question, I'll say my answer. I think no, I don't think millennials are responsible for it. I think the boomers, the generation before, are responsible for what's happening. They have left the current generation down and let this happen. Let these communists, the global elite, take over our countries and run them into the ground, accepting in this mass migration. and in turn also, you know, getting these feminized millennials with no testosterone level at all. That's what I think to that question, really. So yeah, of course you have this feminine millennials, but it's the people generation before that are responsible for this happening. That's what I think, that they let it happen. I also have another question here from Luca, who also used super chat for a question here. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Helps us going. Thank you so much. All super chat questions will be read. And he has an interesting question, Phil. Are you ready?
Okay then, let's go.
You guys have yet to weigh in on the eternal question: breasts or butt?
Oh, wow. Okay then. Right. Is he talking about meat, or is he talking about sexual preference there?
I think he's talking about women.
Right, so he's not talking about chicken or whatever, but
he's a regular viewer, so he's not a troll. He's
right.
He used the super chat as well, so he has a genuine question.
Wow. Okay then. Right. Yeah. Well, I'll let you go first, Peter. How about that one? I'm being polite.
I can say in the live chat here we have a Squatting Slav TV. He's a well-known YouTuber. He has like 150,000 subscribers. I'll let him answer first. He says he prefers butts.
He's a butt man, right? Okay.
I don't know. My answer is going to be this. I prefer a whole traditional woman, not just one part. A whole traditional woman. That's going to be my answer. Not just one part or that part, but the whole woman. Traditional one.
That was very diplomatic, Peter. Nice. You've just stole my thunder there. That's why I give you the opportunity to kind of put your foot in it before I put my foot in it.
We have Williams here. William Williams here thinks, "Come on, Phil, be a man." Where is your testosterone?
Be a man. Yeah, me too. My testosterone's just run out on it. What can I say? Right. Thank you. Well, you like I'll draw in all my intimate secrets out of me. This ain't good, this. Because once it's out, it's never coming back. I'm a breast man, if I'm going to be honest, out of the two. Not that I disappreciate any of them, if I'm going to be honest, but yeah, out of the two, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's an interesting, different question.
That's it. I'm not going to elaborate anymore. Could go all over the place for that, but no, it'll end me in a right load of trouble.
Rogers here comments, "I like all cuts of meat."
That, why didn't you say that before I answered my question, Peter? That should have been my answer. Yes, very diplomatic.
Alexis asks, is Phil Jamaican?
No, my father's from Sierra Leone, or was from Sierra Leone. He's no longer here.
Okay, so yeah, I knew that already, but maybe not everyone does. Yeah, I actually had an interesting experience with a Jamaican guy here in Norway. It was really rude. He was going to help with some removal stuff. It was super rude for some reason. Jamaican guys are usually really nice.
You weren't drinking milk at the time, was you? I could have done it.
Maybe.
Yeah, right. Oh, it's nothing too nasty, I hope.
Maybe it was too racist.
Oh, jeez, yes. It's equivalent to wearing a hood and burning a flag, drinking milk, mate.
Also, a big shout out here again to David Heron, who donated here as well. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it again. It helps keep us going. I'm in Norway here, and it's quite expensive to live in Norway, to be honest. It's food is super expensive here in Norway, so anything is greatly appreciated, guys. It's actually food in Norway is actually 35% more expensive than the average in the rest of Europe. You have what's the price in the UK for a milk?
For milk, for like I think about a litre, you're talking about £1, something like that.
Pound, 2 liters, yeah.
Yeah, 2 litre bottle for about £1.
I can't remember. I haven't checked the price of milk. It doesn't say. I'm gonna take one example here. McDonald's. So in the UK, they have this signature burger. I don't know if you've seen them.
No.
This exclusive kind of the most expensive burger they have at McDonald's in the UK. They're like, what's it like? It's like £6, I think, for a burger.
Right.
Here in Norway, they had the same burger. Guess what the price is for the same burger?
Okay, well, knowing what you just said there about £8 to £9.
Well, it's like 13, £14.
You're joking. Wow.
No, for McDonald's burger here in Norway.
Right. Yeah.
13, £14 for a McDonald's burger.
Yeah, ridiculous. So I'm sure the wages are higher, but as a tourist, it must be absolutely shocking to go over there in that economy.
It's well, people in Norway are quite rich, much richer than me. So yeah,
they can afford a £13 burger.
But the house is relatively cheap.
Right.
The house I found here, so that's good at least.
Right.
We also got some more questions here as well from a guy here called Tire QW33N, who again donated here. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. There's a question here. Gun laws in Sweden, are firearms owned by private citizens? I think I'll answer this. Well, in Sweden, you can get firearms if you have a license, basically. You can have pistols as well, unlike the UK, where you can only have rifles. Yeah, so with the license, you can have guns in Sweden. You can have pistols, you can have rifles, shotguns. I don't think you can get semi-automatic. But you can definitely get guns. And here in Norway, as I told you, Phil, before, here in Norway, I really kind of like it here. It's much more liberty and freedom when it comes to weapons and guns here in Norway than in the UK. I mean, in the UK, you're really restricted. I mean, you can't even have a butter knife, and the police will arrest you in the UK.
Of course.
And I actually read Tesco's. They refused to sell spoons to a 16-year-old boy, I think. So yeah, I mean, I went to a sports store here in Norway called XXL. It's just a general outdoors sports store. They have everything: tennis rackets, football, you name it, fishing stuff. But they also had guns. So they had like a huge display, like 30, 40 guns just on display on the wall. Like and they're not protected behind glass or anything. They're just like out there in open. You can go and touch and have like shotguns, pump shotguns, rifles, everything just lined up. And then they have loads of ammo just in a glass box, a glass door just on the side. And then they have knives, kind of fishing, hunting knives, lying all around just freely, so anyone can pick it up. Even kids. They even have special kids knives lying around, special kids size, small knives. And these are just lying around open, so people can just pick them up and just walk away and just buy them. I mean, like in the UK, I mean, that never happened. I mean, no. I actually managed to. They even had machetes that you could actually buy there. But that works in kind of in a country like Norway, where you don't have mass migration in the same way.
Well, I mean, going my stint on it, I can't speak for Sweden, but my general thing is, particularly what's just gone on in America as well with the shooting and the way they try to politicize that against the gun laws.
Yeah.
Now, I'm all for defending yourself. I think the Second Amendment, I think is bang on right. I don't see a problem with it. When you work with the data, with the responsibility, the different areas of having a gun, as in concealed carry, open carry, how stringent they are, you can be charged for crudely showing your gun. These are the conceptions that they don't tell people. They kind of just imagine everyone's walking around with a gun on the side of them, and it's not like that. It's one of the most stringent rules that they've got over there regarding guns and how you can obtain one.
Well, the thing is, the guy who shot the church in Texas, he had an illegal gun. It was illegal, so gun laws stopped him. But the guy who stopped him had a legal gun. It was a private system, legal gun that stopped him. So if you had banned guns, what would actually happen in Texas is that that guy would have continued to shoot and kill people if he had banned guns, because he had an illegal gun. He would have had an illegal gun anyway.
There was a famous case in sorry, mate. There's a famous case in South Africa, I think it was, I think it was a church again. I'm not sure the year, but there was a load of militants, black militants, that come to raid a South African church, and it was one man with a pistol that I think they'd killed. There was about 3 or 4 militants who used hand grenades and assault rifles. There was a couple of people killed, but with that one handgun, he managed to, I think, kill 1 or 2 of them and at least stop the actual attack progressing anymore, because the way he was shooting gave the impression that there was more than one shooter, so that from that moment they stopped. Now, without that gun, they just run amok.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at Sweden. Machine guns are banned in Sweden, for example, but the criminals, they are using them anyway. And bombs, they're illegal, but they are still bombing in Sweden.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, it doesn't at all.
Yeah, it just stops. Also have another donation here from Spring Larkin. Big shout out to you. Thank you so much. He says, love you guys. Says, love you guys. Keep up the good fight. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And I think that goes to Phil too as well.
Thank you very much. I mean, but going back to that point, Peter, in England, even though that attitude that you explained of how it is in Norway, in the mindset of having guns around you, that could never, you would have to start all over again in this country. We could not do that now. You can't just write a bill in that could make you accessible and expect people to behave accordingly around them kind of weapons, because we just haven't got that mentality. You know what I mean? We would do the wrong thing. So people in this country, when they hear of a shooting in America or whatever, it's kind of inaccurate for them to look at it in our concept. You've got to look at it in the context of where the crime actually took place and the laws they've got there. Because if you look at it in our mind frame, it sounds really, but it's actually not. So I'm fully on board for it.
Yeah, no, I think the Second Amendment is really important. Every country should have a Second Amendment. I mean, here in Norway, you can legally. I mean, I'm probably going to get myself a gun license as soon as I can here in Norway. It'd be fun to go out hunting as well. I mean, that's how much more testosterone feel can you get? You go out hunting deer in the forest. I mean, that really pumps your testosterone up.
Of course.
So that's why not? I'm probably going to get myself a gun license as soon as I can in Norway. Because why not? If you can. Why not?
I believe in the concept. As an individual, you've got your right to defend yourself. And if the government is doing a systematic plan to disarm you, then that's a worrying factor. I'm not sure
if you're allowed to use the guns to defend yourself in Norway. I don't think you're in Sweden. I think if you're directly threatened, I think you're allowed to use them to defend yourself.
Yeah, no, I don't actually mean someone's, you know what I mean, generally. As in...
carry them around openly in Norway. Mm-hmm. But I think if you're in your home and someone breaks in and threatens to shoot you, then I think it's legal to defend yourself with a gun. I believe I have seen that somewhere. But anyway, it's something I would really love to go out hunting here in Norway. Because I live here right in the mountain. You might not believe it, but right out in here I have a huge mountain out this window here with a huge waterfall. I'm living out in the mountains now. So go out hunting. You can save money on food here. The food is so expensive in Norway.
Oh wow, mate!
So, but I did get myself a as I said before. You could here in Norway. I mean, knives are so much easier to buy and so on. They just sell them everywhere, especially out here in the kind of rural areas. So I actually got myself I don't know if I should show it on the stream, but I actually got myself a kind of bush knife. Which is completely legal here in Norway. It would not have been legal in the UK, but it's completely legal here in Norway. Do you think I should show it on screen, Phil?
I reckon maybe you shouldn't, mate. It may start a bit of a storm. You know what it's like.
Someone might screenshot it and take it out of context.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere down the line.
It's completely legal in Norway. People here have them everywhere. They sell them everywhere. Completely fine, just like in America. But yeah, they wouldn't have liked it in the UK. Anyway,
I do see the concept of doing a outdoor adventurous kind of Bear Grylls / Peter Sweden.
I'm probably going to do that. The Peter Grills.
Pizza grills. That's it. Have you got a mate with a helicopter? They can just drop you back onto the mountain, and you know.
Treat the Grills Norwegian survival tour. I'll go out and do stuff. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do that. Have a look out for that. I'm probably gonna do that on my YouTube.
I'd do it.
Maybe you can join me sometime if you go for holiday here.
I would absolutely. You know me. We've already spoke about this. I love me camping. I love me off road. You know, off the grid, and the grill. I love that as well. You know, so I am up for self-sufficiency, and it's the stuff about prepping, and people laugh at preppers. I absolutely adore anyone who's got the prepping mentality.
Prepping is really good. I love prepping.
It's common sense. You're not, you know, even if you may never use it, just the idea that you're kind of putting something aside for a later date, you save money in a bank. So by saving money in a bank, that's prepping.
Yeah.
What are you prepping for?
Yeah.
You know, so it's the same thing. So I love it. I love it. So if anything, the worst scenario was ever to happen, you sort it.
Everyone should prep. I mean, instead you have these kind of feminized liberals, latte drinking, hipster guys with the hipster beards walking around in pretend pretend timber clothes and so on, and they just walk around to different Starbucks and just drink £5 lattes with this like hipster glasses, and they're on their iPhone, and as soon as someone says boo, they just
yeah, exactly. Yeah, low testosterone count, low testosterone count, just kicking in. Well, yeah, it must be something in that coffee, mate. That's all I can say there. Just ridiculous. But you know, you could almost argue there's a plan to eliminate that kind of feeling within the normal person. I mean, the fact of do they want you to be self-sufficient in today's world?
They want people to be feminized. That's
yeah. They want you plugged into the grid. They want you buying your lattes. They don't want you growing your own coffee beans and making your own coffee, because that would then take you off their grid. So you know.
I mean, I'm going to do my Alex Jones impression here. I mean, they're even making the frogs gay.
You know, if that was Alex Jones, he'd be flashing that knife all over the place, wouldn't he? He'd be stabbing him into them boxes and everything.
Yeah, if he had a knife on the hip,
going mental, definitely. Yeah, but you know, I love it. I love it. I tried to talk the wife into doing a bit of a off the grid kind of lifestyle, and she just give me the look, and yeah, I can't see it happening anytime soon. Or if it does, it'll just be me. I think one-man band.
I have an interesting comment. Scotting Slav TV here comments again. It says, Peter Sweden, wear a blonde wig and call yourself Lawrence Southern. You'll get more donations. Yeah.
Right, fair enough. That might work. It might work if I put it on. What do you reckon?
Sorry?
If I put the blonde wig on.
Yeah, I don't know. That would probably look weird.
Yeah. It would be weird. You know, to see myself with hair would be weird at this moment in time. It's been that long. I've had this hairstyle for so long.
Yeah, but I have a Snow Chimp here again donated. He's donated 3 times now. Thank you so much. He wants to support Phil as well here. I really appreciate this super chat, guys. It really mean a lot. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
Phil says, Phil, I subscribe to your channel. So everyone go and subscribe to Red Pill Phil channel. Just search Red Pill Phil on YouTube. You'll find him. He asks if Phil can please start a Patreon. He wants you to start a Patreon so he can support you too.
Oh, that's very nice. I mean, that's the one thing I've never ever done throughout this endeavor, Peter. I've not asked for any money. I don't want any financial gain. I mean, people are even asking, because I've done a couple of videos while I've been at work. People are asking if I want to do. I don't do kind of foreign work out of my work, so I'm not even accepting work offers through that. I just don't want money. But it's really nice for people to be offering. I do believe at some point, if I do want to take it seriously and I do want to travel about a bit, I'm probably going to go there. But I'm certainly not set up to do that. You know, it's not my intention. I earn enough money. and I enjoy it. But I do appreciate people's generosity like that. So that's really nice for someone to say that. So that's brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jer. Also, another question here. A guy who let's see if I can find him. David Heron. He used to super chat as well here. He had a question here. Obama placed a no-fly zone over Libya and thus gave ISIS U.S. Air Force U.S. air cover while they took over Libya and went on to Syria. So Libya was the border wall between Africa and Europe. Should the USA be held more to account for our migration problems? Because they took out Gaddafi.
Oh yeah,
Libya was basically a border between Africa and Europe, and and should America be more held for account for?
Well, you could rewind it before that. I mean, Benghazi itself. I mean, you know, the actual overthrow and the way that was allowed, and the way they were allowed to blame it on a video when it clearly wasn't about a video. Both for me, Hillary and Obama needs to, you know, there was planes in Italy that could have come and assisted them. For 12 hours they were there stuck, defending. And the people that defended, they were contractors, they weren't even military, because the budget was that tight, they wouldn't sanction it. So these guys that actually were defending weren't obliged to, they were just doing it out of the countrymen, you know? So it was a ridiculous scenario. And then obviously what ensued afterwards with Gaddafi getting openly sodomized and everything else, it's ridiculous. So yeah, without a doubt, America's got their hands all over that for what happened. And they do say it was a transfer of weapons, which I could understand that. You know, it was mobilizing the army, which we now know as ISIS. That's how I believe it to be.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of strange things going on there, and definitely America and especially the UK and France had a big role as well in overthrowing Gaddafi. So that's where it all started when they overthrew Gaddafi. They really need to be held more account. And it's these neocon guys, neoconservatives. You know, David Cameron. I think it was Obama, well, but he's still kind of neoconservative anyway, I would say. These people are the guys that really are responsible for mass migration. I mean, they really need to be held more to account for what's happened, I think. But at least you got Trump in office now, and had we had Trump back then, I don't think that would have happened. I don't think he would have attacked Gaddafi in that way. So
no, yeah. I agree, or at least I'd like to think so. I would like to see Trump being more Trump and fulfilling his kind of campaign, not slide so much and not get so much misinformation. But same again, you know, it must be hard when you've got so many thousand people that are under you that are not quite your people, that are making your policies difficult to kind of bring out and bills and stuff. So it's a mucky, dirty business, isn't it? So hopefully wait and see. But I do agree. If Hillary would have been there, God knows where we'd be now.
Well, she was, but she wasn't the president. She was, what was she? Foreign? I can't remember what she was.
Foreign secretary.
She was involved in something, but
yeah.
We have again Snow Shrimp again here has donated for the 4th time today. Wow, impressive! Thank you so much. He is asking Phil again here. Phil, why don't you have a Patreon? He's nagging you for a Patreon here, Phil.
Oh, jeez.
He wants to pay you. He wants
I
to
know,
give you money.
Yeah. People throwing money at me because I'm a humble guy and I earn money. I have not set this up to kind of, you know, some people, the first thing they do when they set up a YouTube page, they'll set up a Patreon and give me. And they might have every reason because of the work that Peter does, the hours and the production time that it involves in making videos. My videos are relatively easy. I just tend to press play, don't do any cutting and kind of upload it. You guys, there's all kinds of graphics, cutting, this, that, and that. So that's more production time. So you can take hours. So I can see why. And like I say, it is getting to that point. And I'm just being humble. I just don't like doing this. Can I have money, please? Can I have money?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, when I first started, I went for a whole year before I was doxxed, and basically I couldn't do my normal job anymore, so I had to go full time on this. And it was only then that I set up Patreon and PayPal for myself. before that, I did a whole year doing these kinds of things without asking for money. But if anyone feels they want to support me now, I'm doing this full time. So that's highly appreciated. I think for me, I kind of think it is a bit. For me, this is kind of my full-time job. So instead of buying newspapers or paying the TV channels, instead you can pay me a little bit to get this kind of content instead, and the news, kind of real news, not the fake news mainstream media, because they're not reporting anything about the bombings going on in Sweden, but I'm doing it. My video that's actually I got several videos out on that, and in total I've got over 200,000 views on them. So that's quite good. We're really challenging the mainstream media, I think, on this.
Of course, because it's not like you're just showing the truth. These guys are choosing to kind of deceive people, or the best way is to kind of make people not know about it is to never bring it up. And, that might have worked 30, 40 years ago with the media that we had, with the low information media, but with the media that we've got now and the fast pace and technology, they really are naive to think that trick still works. So the genie is out the bottle. And it's brilliant to see that I'm not even on social media, and I still am pretty much alert and awake as to what's going on around the world. So with everyone on the different social medias, you can't keep it down anymore.
Yeah, no, people are really liking her in the live chat. I see Ben here says, "Phil, I'll buy you a pint if I ever see you on March. You can hold me to that."
I will do. Nice one.
And we have, let's see, it's so funny. Snow Shrimp again here has a fun, interesting comment here. It says, "Phil, stay away from Myrianopolis." Don't ask why.
Right, okay.
I think he likes black people.
yeah, I've heard. So believe. There's a little story I could tell, but there's nothing to do with Mr. Yiannopoulos at all. But no, I think I better just not reveal too much at this point. Yeah, so no, what can I say? I'm blushing over that comment.
JMW asks me if I've been to Svalbard. That's up north now. I haven't been to Svalbard. Where I am at right now is the furthest north I've ever been, I think. It's up in the Ålesund area, Norway. It's quite north up. You have Northern Lights here. We have it's like 5 meters of snow up in the mountains here at winter. So yeah.
So how often do you get to see the Northern Lights, Peter? Do you literally open your door and there they are, or?
Well, I don't know. I haven't seen them yet. I haven't been outside. It's been very cloudy. I mean, it rains so much here. It rains a lot. I haven't been out much in the evening, but you can definitely get Northern Lights out here.
Wow.
It's really nice landscape here, you can say, as you've seen in my videos. I'm actually doing another video tomorrow. I'm going to update on the last video I did was about there had been 13 bombings in Sweden. Now there's been 16, so I'm going to do another video on that tomorrow from some of the nice landscape around here. So that's going to be uploading tomorrow. It's crazy. I think we had a very good live stream today. I really enjoyed this one.
I've enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been good fun, mate. We've got some good points out. So I enjoyed it.
I'll answer this question as well. If anyone has any urgent, I think we should finish this live stream soon. What do you think, Phil, or do you want to stay on?
No, I'm ready when you are, mate. That's fine. I think we've kind of discussed all the points. If everyone's kind of asked the questions.
Yeah, I have one more question I'm going to answer here. Or if anyone else has any urgent questions they want to answer, if you want to use the super chat, I'll answer them all until we finish. But I'm going to answer this last question here, unless we get any more. Abel asks if I think the Nordic resistance movement and demonstration in Gothenburg was just LARPing. He asks if they are real Nazis. He thinks the fights with the police looked like theater fighting. Well, the Nordic resistance movement, they call themselves natural socialists. In other words, Nazis. If they are LARPing, Uh, mm, I wouldn't say. I don't think they don't think they're LARPing. At least I think they genuinely see themselves as natural socialists, but they don't have any swastikas or anything like that. They, shall I say, some of the guys there are kind of the guys you would find in, not all of them, some of those guys seem to try and strive to be this kind of 30s German national socialist, because there's a difference, as you might, I don't know if you know about this, Phil, but there's a difference. You have these kind of neo-Nazis, skinheads with tattoos, and then you have the kind of old Nazis, in the, the German ones. It's quite a big difference between them two. And this guy basically asked a question, which one of them, if there are any, which side they're on. And probably say, I think some of the guys in Nordic Christians movement, they probably see themselves as, they probably try and strive more to be the kind of German 30s guy. But there are definitely some neo-Nazis there, skinheads, tattoos, and so on. It's even, from what I've heard, some of the guys there, a bit interesting. Some of the guys that are in the Nordic Christians movement are actually Satanists. One of the guys I saw there in Gothenburg had a big, like, upside down pentagram star on his arm, tattoo, I think it was. And some of them are well-known Satanists in Sweden, so that's interesting, not very good thing. Do you have anything to add on that, Phil?
They sound like the type of guys that I wouldn't bring round to have dinner with my grandmother on Christmas morning. Bad optics, definitely. The upside down cross, I'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't want to leave the room, put it that way. Like, stay here, grandmother, you're all right. Yeah, no, there's not a lot to add, mate. I mean, that's the scary side. That's the side they're going to demonise, isn't it? I mean, I don't know too much about that movement, but it doesn't sound like there's a future for that Aryan kind of full-on, almost satanic kind of religious way of thinking. I just don't get that at all. I think the world, we've all got to live together to a degree. I'm all about radical Islam. I'm not about colour thing. It's not a colour thing, but I do agree and I do sympathise and do hear people's arguments when they talk from Europe, how they, they want to keep their cultural traditions. I totally get that. Totally get it.
I'm gonna say I'm more about the globalist elites. I think they are I think the globalist elites are the main threat to civilization. They're the ones that are bringing mass migration in. They're the ones that are bringing in.
It's contaminating. If it was done organically and naturally, I don't see anyone or too many people that would have a problem.
It has happened organically and naturally before, but you don't see it in the same kind of way that's happening now. You had a few people here and there maybe that were maybe the really absolutely most desperate guys made their way over to Europe, and
I mean, as logic goes,
as
logic goes, I mean, if you sort of like say you've got a continent of Africa, whatever, you decide all of a sudden you're going to throw in 20 million white people there, and then you're going to convince all the black people there that don't be racist, these have all come and apply exactly the same argument. You're going to get the same disgruntlement. It's going to be, the black people are going to see it exactly the same way, surely.
Which actually brings me, can I just bring this last topic up before we finish? If you
sure can. You go for it, man.
There's been quite a big talk about it, actually. And by the way, I just want to, we have a real hero here in the live chat. Snow Shimp again has donated for the 5th time today. He's really being a hero tonight.
He's enjoying the show, mate. This must be a good stream.
Yeah, I must like the show very much.
Oh, brilliant.
So much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
He says, we have to support truth tellers. This is history in the making. Be part of alternative media or support it. These people are taking real risks. Yeah, thank you so much. It's quite correct there.
Yeah.
I had the police coming. I've had to leave the UK because of free speech. Taking myself to Norway so I can continue. Free speech is there's more free speech here in Norway. So better to be here than to sit in prison for made up hate crimes. So yeah.
People are getting persecuted. In one of the comments on the YouTube page, I think it might have been regarding the clip you filmed, the original clip, the Antifa lady. Apparently, he'd mentioned in this comment that he got suspended because he forwarded that clip to somebody else. Now, whether it was through Facebook, WhatsApp.
The clip that I
Yeah, you know, like people just share the link. Yeah.
Yeah, the one where you talked
Yeah. He shared that. Now, I don't know whether it, like I say, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through internal. I don't know. But that was his words. He shared that clip and he got suspended for it.
He got suspended from his job for sharing my video?
Yeah.
Are they completely insane?
Yeah. Now, I can only assume that it was because it was me on there and because I'm that butt ugly that I must have offended half of his firm, and he's thought, my word, we've got to get rid of him. He can't be distributing butt ugly people in this fashion. That's all it can be, Peter. But no, yeah, seriously. So, I mean, going back to how dangerous it is, it's silly, isn't it? You know?
They get suspended for sharing my video. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I know. And people attending marches, you know, they're getting suspended. They're getting, you know, told that if they go anywhere near this kind of march. But, I mean, don't forget, we've got this program coming up on Thursday, Demonising the Far Right, which is the show we done the other week. So that might be the next show in terms of discussing what this show actually, what they covered in it.
There's some pretty bad stuff that's going to be there, though. But,
yeah. Tommy and Lucy, I know they're going to be covering it live stream. There's a show in England that they call Gogglebox, and it's you'll know of it. It's not that you watch it, but I'm sure you'll know of the program. I couldn't think of anything worse, but it's filming people watching specific clips and then just listening to them in a living room set environment, just casually talking as any family would regarding that clip. Yeah. So you're getting all kinds of nice liberal, lame kind of attitudes. So basically, Tommy and Lucy are going to watch this TV program and they're going to film it in that vein of like sat there with popcorn.
Or is it on Periscope?
I couldn't tell you in what format and what medium. I was just speaking to Lucy just after the Manchester event, and she mentioned that that's what they were thinking to do, kind of make it more of a comedic, laugh at it rather than see it as a serious thing.
They should have got me on, seeing that I actually met this undercover journalist as well in the UK.
Yeah. She's not going to be well liked, this Hazel.
No.
You know, her photo's been well distributed now.
You got some bad things on video, though. Some people did say some stupid stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sure that they'll monopolise on that, mate, you know, without a doubt. But it has to be said as well, for the length of time that they actually were filming, there doesn't seem to, well, who knows exactly how much material, but from what the individual dockets have stated, I know 2 people that it's going to involve, and there doesn't seem to be too much material, although the ITV are going to portray it as if, you know, these guys have just got racist bones running all the way through their body, therefore every word they say has got sheer hatred and bigotry behind it, you know.
But you did say this one guy that we know, both of us know, that did have some pretty bad stuff on him.
Yeah, it was juicer, very juicer, and you know he can't defend it. So he knows that. He knows it.
It was some stuff on lynching and Holocaust stuff, I believe. That is.
Yeah, he's going back off tweets. He's going back off certain statements he's made in the company of this journalist. So yeah,
but this guy is actually losing his job, so that's really unfortunate for him. And I met him; he's a nice guy, but said some really stupid stuff.
He's a lovely guy. It's for me, it's a severe error of judgment. But when the material comes out, I think a lot of people may not see that. But you know, they don't know him. So
he might have spent a little too long time shit posting on internet. and then comes to the real world, and he's continues to say a few stupid things in the real world as well. That's probably what's happened. Yeah. Vat here says, Phil, you're beautiful in the live chat.
Thank you, Vat. That's very nice.
Yes, and here's the thing as well. You talked about people getting suspended for posting my video. Sue Cannon here in the live chat, I actually saw this before. People at Sue's local council, this was, I can't remember what the name was of this council, but it was a conservative councillor. She was actually suspended from the Conservative Party for retweeting mine and Tommy Robinson's tweets. So she retweeted me, and she was suspended for it. They actually had my tweets in her local newspaper saying this is what this local politician retweeted. She tweeted Peter Sweden, me, and she's now getting suspended. I mean,
so they're not actually her words. So you know.
By the way, that was not by the way, I was not shooting myself in the head. I was doing a farting sound there. I was like cuckoo. That's just to explain that no one tries to take that out of context anything.
You know, I mean, how can
I was not doing a gun impression. I was not doing that. If anyone had any idea of taking
anything, a fart gun, to the head.
Yeah, it's like cuckoo. Yeah.
You know, how can anyone get done for? That's basically saying because I've said your words, or actually the game of Chinese whispers. You know what I mean? I've just actually, my mate said, "Oh, what's Peter just said? Oh, Peter just said this. Oh, you're suspended. What am I suspended for? I'm only suspended because you just said that. Well, you've just said it. Well, they only said it because he's just asked me. Well, it don't matter because you've just been suspended." And that's how crazy it is. If your own words, then even then, you still got your freedom of speech. You're still allowed to say what you want to bleed and say. But when they're not actually my words, it's like you're passing a note. And because you've touched that piece of it.
But they haven't even said it themselves. They just
your fault as well.
Stupid thing. Oh.
The world we're living in.
Anna here in live chat says, Peter, I don't think the farting the head gesture is going to catch on. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the visual, mate. You know, it's people that need to have a mental picture. For those people, you've created a horror scene there.
Oh, just reminded this guy. Do you remember the live stream when we were laughing for 10 minutes straight about Antifa lady farts nuking? Do you remember that one?
Yep.
Person in the live chat just remembered about that when I did the farting thing. Like, imagine if this Antifa lady had actually done like a fart to the head like that. No, that would actually been a good weapon. You're like that Antifa lady that you schooled, like collect her farts in like a tub and like load them up in some kind of bullet or in some kind of gas pistol, and he like uses it as a weapon. You just like shoot it out like.
Yeah, but it's like the cloudy smoke, like the cartoon gun. You know, an actual fart gun. That would be brilliant because they've been caught spraying American conservatives outside Berkeley and whatnot with mace and all that kind of stuff for just actually being there, not actually saying anything nasty. So it'd be great to run round with fart guns and just attack these Antifa. I mean, you've got balaclavas covering the nose, so it should give them somewhat a bit of protection. But, you know, if that's all it takes, I mean, if that's what the Second Amendment's all about, I'll take a fart gun over a butter knife any day of the week.
Yeah. No, I think we should stay away we should stay away from the fart topic, I think.
Yeah. I think that started. The original comment was the fart's not going to work, so we've only elaborated on that. So, yeah, fair enough. Move on.
Oh, apologies. Luca here in live chat says that one day Peter will realize I'm not a man and stop calling me a guy. Okay, apologies there. I thought Luca was a man, and she's apparently a woman. She tells me in live chat. Sorry about that. I thought Luca was a male name. Maybe it's, I don't know. Well, apologies there anyway. Yeah, what do you think? Is there anything else you would like to take up, or do you think we should end this stream here now?
I think we're about done, aren't we, really, mate? If all the questions are done and everyone's happy, and hope everyone's enjoyed the stream. And pleasure to be here as normal, and thank you for having me and all that kind of stuff, mate.
Yeah, no, I think we'll wrap this up here then. So thank you so much for being on, Phil, and make sure to go and subscribe to Phil's YouTube channel. Just search in YouTube Red Pill Phil and you'll find him. Make sure to hit the likes up on this video too, and subscribe if you haven't done so, and make sure to hit the notification bell as well, because that's one thing I realized. Some people don't get notifications when I post a new video. So make sure to hit, I believe there's a bell button down here somewhere on this side of the screen, I think, where you subscribe and hit the bell button, then you get notifications when a new video gets out. So make sure to hit that, and then you won't miss any live streams. Otherwise you might miss live streams, but if you have the bell button clicked on down there, you will get notifications whenever I do live streams, so you won't miss them. So make sure to do that, guys, and we'll see you guys. Yeah, make sure you don't want to miss my next live stream, because I'm gonna try and get Baked Alaska and Nick Fuentes and maybe even Kaylin, who used to work at Rebel Media, and we're gonna try and get together for a really good live stream next time. So you don't want to miss that, guys. So smash that like button, and I will see you guys later. Do you have anything you want to say, Phil, before we go?
No, apart from thank you to everyone, and yeah, good night.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much.
Care.